Hey everyone, this is Chris from Deus Ex Machina, and we've got some books here. Now, just to make sure everyone is aware, these are not the print books from China. These are not the ones that backers will be receiving. Those books should have potentially thicker paper. They'll have a satin bookmark. We know that they put the satin bookmark for all the books, not just the deluxe edition, so you won't see the satin bookmark in here. These are the print-on-demand editions from DriveThruRPG. Technically, I received these a few months ago, but I've been sitting on them because I wanted to make sure the books were on their way to Florida so we can start the distribution process before I activated these, because I didn't want backers to get upset if these books hit people's hands before backers did. So I've been sitting on these since, well, this one came out in March and this one came out in April. So this one's defective, and I'll show you guys why. It's a very common thing. If you're a publisher yourself, always take note of this kind of error. So we'll go to that one first. So this is ULTRAMODERN 5 Redo. You can see the chapter colors kind of displayed in that. Now you'll see this white image here. This is because this is a very common problem if you don't properly flatten your PDF. Oddly enough, I was so paranoid about flattening these ones because if people will remember, I've had problems with black boxes around some of my artwork in previous prototypes. The Savage World version of Amethyst Factions was one example. And all that process, I forgot to do that to the cover because usually Nick flattens it, and this time I guess what happened is that we kind of forgot to do that. So that's why you see these white boxes here and on the front. So I had to order a new prototype with a new cover, which you'll see in a second. So that's the reason why. Inside, the February and the March book and the April book should be completely identical. So we'll go to that one. There it is. So this book actually hasn't really been opened, so it's actually still very, very much new. So we see the cover image, we can see the content. Now this one also is a bit chopped, and this is the other thing you probably won't find with the print version for backers. You can see the top is a little chopped off, and that's, I think, because of the way that's the way the system, that's the way they printed it. So as a result, we are really close to the line on all of these. It's not a really big deal. Like I said, it doesn't really chop it off too much, but I'm just saying the fact that this should not be like this in the print version. But the images, of course, are very vibrant. We did go for premium quality, so these look really, really good. The illustrations look pretty sharp. Let's ignore that for now. Let's see what else we have. The kind of weird line artifacts that pop up in the PDF thankfully don't show up in the print version. It looks very, very smooth, thankfully. I don't see any of those little white lines that sometimes pop up depending on your version of Adobe. So that's pretty good. You can see that's our race chapter. We can see the tables they kind of really pop up. I think it's pretty easy to read. Class chapter. Let's see if we can skip to another one. I'm going to put a weight on this thing because it's annoying me. Here we have our weapons. Relatively easy to see there. We've got some armor, illustrations of armor. There's ground vehicles. There's a lot of ground vehicles. Mecha chapter. That came out really nice. And we move on to the magic chapter, and one of my favorite illustrations. That one came out really well. I like the way it bends around that image. As some people might know, this was a very difficult image to get to do this because publisher doesn't want to do this type of wrap properly, especially if it's in front of the image. So this is actually two images, one that's causing the wrap and one that's behind the image. It's kind of an oddball, and then one of my favorite illustrations, which should be the next page. Yeah, look at that. Look at how that looked. Very nice. Like I said, there's actually a line right inside, but it's inside the leaf, so you can't see it. So it's right inside. So, but that came out really nice. Mark is very, very happy with that image. So it's, people know this is Mark Mear's player character. Mark Mear, voice of Commander Shepard, great actor, funny man, friend of mine. And I did that illustration. Well, Nick did the illustration based on the description that Mark gave. So really, really nice. So skip past that, all the spells. We've got our monsters, and once again, we got a lot of those guys popping up. Some of these illustrations are from Amethyst, I admit. Some of them are not. Very, very cool. This one is a little bit different. I think the blue is causing a bit of a weird thing, because you'll see right here it's a little darker and the tone's a bit different. I don't know why that happened, and it doesn't seem to. It only seems to happen when the image is in front of the. So in this one, when the image is behind, you don't see that artifact. But since I wanted to have the cool effect of the sword in front, we have that artifact, which is weird because it's not on the PDF, and I'm not expecting that artifact to pop up in the Chinese version. But if it does, not much I can do about that. Same thing here. So Gargantuix has that same issue. So this table is behind Gargantuix, but this image is behind Gargantuix, so we see this little weird artifact. So once again, I don't know why that is, but I've always had numerous problems with DriveThru's printing process sometimes. That one worked okay. Skin mass is pretty good. I will have that problem once again with this one. Here's a little line. Like I said, it doesn't really affect print. Got it right there again, although that image came out really nice. I really like how that looks. And then we have Skin Anathema. The Xenobite, really, really nice image. Should really lower the volume. Ultramax, which is not a very big chapter, so we'll skip past that. The Adventuring Table, there's my friend William. And a whole bunch, for some people are curious, there's actually brand new versions of these tables in the Affinity book Conestoga, only because Conestoga has a completely different equipment list, so we had to revise them. So there's a whole bunch of adventure stuff, and then the two adventures that we have, the adventure for Acropolis, and then we have this, and then we have the spaceship one, the Threshold one. Now, one thing is that the PDF, when you download it, has images of all the maps at the back. And then you can download the high resolution maps. The maps are not here. So you can see here that it ends with the Threshold chapter, has our index, and then that's basically it. So the extra 20 pages of maps aren't in this book. Why? Well, because nobody photocopies anymore. We've posted all the maps on dsxmachina.com, so you can just download them. They're free for anybody to use. And once again, you can also download them if you have the PDF. And if you bought this DriveThruRPG, you already have the PDF. So you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, there it is. Nice and glossy, good quality book. So that's going to be available this week.